Hi everyone, hello and welcome back. Sorry, I'm just having my coffee there. So, how are you doing? Are you all well on this lovely Thursday, 10th of October? So, what have we got in store for you today? We've got the ones continuing through the ones family. So, 7 of Wands it's going to be. And if you want to join us, you're very welcome to. So here we are with the 7 of Wands. I need to get my comments back up. 1 second. Hello. Hi. How are you doing? Are you well? Have you had a good day, passionate Sagittarius? Are you ready for this one? The 7 of Wands. Another lovely element of fire. Minor Arcana card. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much. Hello. Hi. Queen of Cups. Hi, 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 hi. Good. I'm glad you're well. That's lovely. It's great that you're back. How lovely. Thank you very much for putting your comments up straight away. Makes it feel a lot less lonely here. So, 7 of Wands. This is a little bit different, Queen of Cups. So more of a tutorial in the sense of what this card is all about. So our Thursdays are always quite deep dives into the meaning of the card. So here we go. We're going to start kicking off, and we've got our lovely 7 of Wands there. So there you go. All this lovely, I love it that you come straight in like that. Thank you so much. So, 7 of Wands. By the way, can everyone hear me okay? I think everything's working. I seem to have got a few things missing up on my screen. Such a busy day, but never mind. All good, all good. 7 of Wands. This is a card of challenge, competition, protection, perseverance. And so the 7 of Wands shows a man on top of a hill, armed with a wand in each hand. He's fighting off 6 more wands that are being drawn from below him. So this is a figure who is defending his territory and his successors. Thank you very much for the okay with the sound. Really appreciate that. Thank you. So interestingly, this man is wearing 2 different shoes. So it suggests he may have been caught unaware or unprepared for battle, or needing clarification of his stance and his opinion. So he's in a good position, but there's still some problems there, and he is making sure that after the 6 of Wands, he is now in an enviable position, and he's being challenged by others now who want to take his place. So this is a card of where you've worked hard to get where you are, but some people want to covet what you have, and they're prepared to fight you for it. So although it's flattering, they can strive for your successes, and this can create a very tense and competitive environment, because you must protect what you've earned, and you've got to now continually prove yourself. So it's a sad fact of life, but the more visibility you have as a leader in your field, and the bigger your audience, the more likely the need to grapple with this kind of pressure. So we know, what it's like. So others will see your success, and they'll either want to challenge your point of view, or they want to take it down. So when the 7 of Wands appears in a tarot reading, expect to see more people who want to challenge you or disagree with you. And you've got to be secure in your territory and fight for what you're standing up for. So you might want to be in a position of saying, well, I've got to have some sort of loyal support, a team who can defend me from any possible threats. And so the 7 of Wands may appear when you hold a point of view, or you wish to voice your opinion in some sort of public forum or form. So you've got to be ready to support your argument and back yourself up. So it's not easy being on top, is it? I'm just going to silence that. Sorry. So stand firm in your convictions of what you believe in, and why, so that others don't try and topple you down from that mountain of your own self-belief. So sometimes this threat or opposition might catch you by surprise. You might feel the need for more preparation because you're going into another battle. And just like the man in this card, he's rushed to put his shoes on. And if we look, he's got a shoe and a boot. So it's about scrambling to find, even though you don't have everything in place. So the Seven of Wands is a positive card, and it's encouraging you to look at any potential threats or risks before you proceed with your plans. So you need to be prepared. That way then you've got plan B, and you've also got a worst case scenario plan ready. And the Seven of Wands can also mean a challenge to your success or your creative projects from external sources. Someone or something might be getting in the way of what you've been able to pursue. Ideally, they're looking at your goals and your dreams. So when it appears to block your path, you've got to try and overcome it. And this is an obstacle of drawing upon your own self-confidence and your own self-beliefs and your self-improvement. It can be tough at the top, huh? So you've got to establish that you've got some very clear boundaries and protect them so that others don't try and mess with you. You've got to hold your ground, take a stand, and defend your position at all costs. So this will require courage and persistence, but you've got the strength and the determination to do it. So you've got to keep fighting for your beliefs and confront those who might want to threaten you or oppose you. So it's standing up for what you believe in, isn't it? And it might be a struggle to be heard or to get others to take you seriously. But you've got to make a firm stand. And if something needs to be defended, you've got to be prepared for what that means. And you've got to put your foot down. And you're going to get disagreements from others trying to compete with you. They're passionate and they're determined. And they've got faith in your abilities, but they are also trying to stand their ground. And if we look, we can see those ones below all kind of trying to attack, really, or push them down. And the Seven of Wands appears when you've got to fight for what you believe in and for what's rightfully yours and what you understand is the truth. So it's a time in life where we need to defend ourselves, our values and our beliefs. So it's a card of determination and not giving in to others. And you might be called upon to defend a point really passionately, and you want to be heard by others. And you've got to protect what you value and what can leave you feeling challenged by a situation or others. They're trying to catch you off guard. They're trying to take what's yours. And this is a time to stay focused. So the Seven of Wands assures us that this positive outcome is obtainable if we persevere, and we need to remain faithful to what really matters. But we must also perhaps listen to others in return. And so events can move really quickly, and others will want their say. So your view might not be the only one that's being shouted out here. And this can happen in an area where others want to express themselves, and they're not accepting of the direction that you, or the stance that you're taking. So conversations might become heated, emotions can lead to heated debates with others, questioning everything. And it's competition, isn't it? Particularly in the workplace. In action, of course, because the Wands is a suit of action. You're under pressure and you're being tested, and this card shows that you've got to have that grit and that determination to win. And success will be found in faith of your own abilities, and only that. And if you look, he's on his own. Now, if this should come up, should we say in career or work, if this comes up and you're searching for work, the Seven of Wands is saying that you're probably facing competition and you've got to prove yourself and your self-worth in order to go for that position or maintain that top position. So you've got to be ready for a challenge, not only by the other applicants, but also by your prospective employers. In interviews, you've got to show examples of your work, defend them, and demonstrate your capabilities. Not easy. You've got to present clear, concise, rational explanations, why you stand this way or that, and why you're the perfect candidate for the position. So in work-related readings, the Seven of Wands can suggest that you've seen a lot of success, but now people are challenging you, and your colleagues can see you as a high performer. Competition, and you've got to constantly deliver excellent results. Otherwise, they're going to want to try and criticize you, take you down, or even worse, the feeling that you're going to be dismissed. If we're talking about finances, and of course, it is part of a reading, the Seven of Wands warns us that we need to protect our investments from others because they're going to try and seek what we've got. As a personality, the Seven of Wands personalities are fighters, and they'll stand up for themselves no matter what. They've already achieved a lot of their goals and successes in life, and they refuse to let other people get in the way of their future wins. So they won't let others put them down. They're confident, and they're very good in debates, experts in fact, and they present skillfully that they can go into discussion or debate and not be brought down or opposed or give up. Love. Well, positive again if you're looking for love, the Seven of Wands. Sorry about my dog barking. Sorry. If you're looking for love, the Seven of Wands implies that you're prepared to do battle. You're going to try and win that person over. I'm going to put some keywords on and try and get Ben to be quiet for a minute. Sorry. Hopefully, it's a bit quieter now, sorry. That's what happens when you rescue dogs. So, we were at a juicy bit, weren't we? Love. Well, in a love reading, Seven of Wands can imply that you're prepared to go to battle, to win, and win over that person that you're interested in, even if there's others that are coveting their attention. So there's a strong sense of self-confidence, and you probably would believe that you deserve only the best for yourself in your relationships, and you're prepared to go all in to fight for it. If you're in an established relationship, the Seven of Wands can show that you're going through some challenging and opposing times, and you might be a bit critical of one another. But you're going to choose your battles and give each other some breathing space and flexibility. So it's a bit like who's on top, who's top dog today. That's kind of what this card is. Sometimes a Seven of Wands can point to a problematic partner who will continue to defend their actions. They might not want to give in or apologise, and they are territorial and opinionated no matter what. You might hear things like, well, that's just who I am, take it or leave it, which obviously can be really, really frustrating. If the relationship is struggling somewhat, then the Seven of Wands tells you that it's worth fighting for, because it is a positive card. It's just that you've got to go all in and protect and mind. Look at it as in you're standing on top of a mountain or a hill, and you can see bird's eye view, or drone view as we see these days, of potential attack or people that are coming in to your territory. And so you are in a really good position to be able to sort of see, you're not, what's that expression, you're not blinded by the woods for the trees. It's quite the opposite. You're able to see a crystal clear picture. So you're able to have plans, strategies, but it can be overwhelming when you look at that. That's 6 against 1, just in the context of this card. So people are challenging along the way, and others are questioning your actions, and you've got to firmly believe in this relationship and see its potential. And your connection with your partner is essential if you want it to work. You've got to know that the journey ahead of you might be challenging, trying, and you might need to confront some issues, but this so-called fight can help you re-establish your commitment to each other and get to a better place. So the sevens is always about attaining a higher wisdom through testing, internal examination and choice. So it's about really looking at them and looking at ourselves and saying, right, okay, what do we have to do here? Plan of action. And the Seven of Wands can appear sometimes in a spiritual part of the reader, or someone asking about their spiritual path. And good to see it as in that they are in a good place, that they may have some thoughts about their spirituality that's been tested by others or even the universe, and he throws it as what we can cope with is the same. And you're in that privileged position to be able to have that advantage from that viewpoint. So it's not a time to give up or give in, because you're in that privileged position of being able to see far more than the crowd below. But you've still got to stand your ground, and you can't rest on your laurels, can you? You can't take your eye off the ball for a moment, because as I said, it's a bit unfair, so many coming at just one. And so you've got to develop a firmer understanding of your beliefs. So if it's about your well-being, remember we don't do health, look at it as well-being, you're probably constantly defending yourself and standing up, and it can be stressful. There's no doubt about it. So you need to find some form of decompression to be able to cope with that, and look at those areas, how stress can affect you, what parts of the body, and pay special attention to the fact that you are kind and careful to yourself. So Seven of Wands, some key words are challenges, opposition, standing your ground. And so we see this man standing, as I said, on top of a hill or a cliff, and he's got that long wand, and he appears to be gritting his teeth. And he really does look as if he's determined and quite tough. Not great expression on his face. And those 6 wands are threatening. We don't see the people in this card that are brandishing the wands. It might be his followers, it might even be his supporters. But if we look at his stance, it appears a bit aggressive, defensive, and he's using all of his energy to control the crowd, enemies, and his commitments. And as we said, he's got one boot and one shoe. This can also mean not that he was caught unawares, as we mentioned earlier, but what about the fact that maybe it's telling us that he has many roles to play in this situation, one foot in two different camps perhaps. Maybe he was caught unawares by the enemy at the gate and rushed to dress and grab what he could find, we don't know. The reddish orangey tights, and that depends on the deck you've got, it varies from one edition to another. Reddish brown, it suggests that he's passionate for holding on to his ground or his territory. And he does have a place of advantage over the 6 wands because he's on a higher ground on which he can fight. However, his right foot is dangerously close to the cliff face. And if we look, there's water cascading down the side of the mountain, giving us an insight into the depths of his situation that's stirring up. So he's probably on shaky ground, even though he's on higher ground. And if we look, he's straddling that territory. And he's trying to fight off his attackers. So when we are elevated, the next thing that happens in life is people come challenging, and they're prepared to fight, even though they were, in a place of victory before, celebrating that. So he's maintaining composure and control as best he can to handle all the opposition. His followers perhaps demand more from him, and this might be led by envy or the enemy, we don't know. And the ones might also symbolise rivalry and competition for his position, which is more like it. We've got a bright blue sky in the background, and that suggests that he can hold his ground for long enough and he can free himself from this difficult and trying position. He needs to take on one wand at a time because he can't go rushing in to the mob, because he has no chance of success if he does that. So he needs to look at his game plan. He has got the upper hand, and that's a very good key word for this card. And it's not about giving up, and it's not about giving in. It's about looking at the fact that you've got to stay on top of the situation, you've got to lead, you've got to hold your own, you've got to really be assertive, defensive. Stiff competition is definitely on the agenda here, and it's tough at the top, really is. Maybe he was caught off guard, but he has to find a way, and he's got to hang in there. When we see this card, people see standing your ground, but many will seek to steal or take that position from you. And they'll look at trying to knock you down with competition or rivalry. And fighting off stiff competition will either strengthen you or it'll break your resolve and leave you weak and exhausted. You might be fighting, holding on to everything and going, this is mine, this is mine. But you know what? People can be hell-bent on taking or destroying what you've got. But you can't stand by and let it happen. You've got to have a game plan to come out fighting. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in that privileged position of being on top of the situation. And you know what? You got there fair and square because you worked for it. So you might need to behave confidently and assertively, and you mustn't give in to pressure. And they're challenging, and you've got to defend your territory. And you might need to kind of demonstrate by some sort of warning that you're deadly serious to those around you. So the Seven of Wands can highlight the fact that you've got to watch your back. And you can feel very isolated or alone and feel that you're surrounded by enemies and you can't trust anyone. And everyone seems to be out to take what's yours or get you or set against you. So you feel like stepping back and giving in. But you've got to think very carefully about that. You've got there fair and square. You've won the competition. And, getting worked up over nothing is what they're doing. So you've got to be calm, collected, and decide that this is worth it and that you value yourself. And you've got to take yourself seriously even though you are being challenged. It's about standing your ground. And your views or opinions can be questioned. And you might feel, that they're trying to disrupt what you're doing or disrupt your actions or unsettle you. And you've got to defend your principles and beliefs. And so it's all part of the path of having to take higher ground in that situation. And so this is going to demand courage and a lot of effort on your part. So it's a kind of saying, don't give up without a good old fight. And it's hectic and demanding. And you might go, oh, gosh, I'm totally overwhelmed by this. But if we look at our figure, it does look like he's got the stamina to go along with it. And even strong enough, as there was this part, where you actually go, you know what, enough's enough. So this person is strong-minded, and it may take them quite some time to navigate this because, as I said, there's an unfair situation, so many coming at once, 6 against 1. So this is how life can feel, and it's tough at the top. And this is kind of the price that we pay for success. And you've got to think, do I really want it? And the Seven of Wands can appear in your reading when you've definitely obtained a very long sought after goal or achievement. And you fought for what's yours, but now you're kind of going, it's not brought me the happiness that I thought it would. It's brought all the stress, and I've built a monster, and it's extra work, and it's a massive headache. And you might think, well, you know what, it'd be really easy to just kind of give in to it and just let it go. But you've got to show that you are brilliant and that you have worked hard for this. And it might be for a short period that you hold this, but maybe you have bitten off more than you can chew. And maybe it is that it's demanding more and more and more from you. So it's a time to look inwards and review everything and look at things from different perspectives and see what's the best option for you. But it's not about panicking, and you must actually think, hold on a minute, break it down piece by piece, as I said, one by one, and then you might cope with more manageable tasks and prioritise what you're doing, especially if those demands are great, or you might need to delegate to others because you can't do it all yourself. We all know that feeling, I know. And the Seven of Wands comes into your reading. It's positive, but you might be saying, what have I done to deserve all of this stress? You might feel impatient and frustrated about all the details, and you feel like someone or something is getting in the way or making, the progress that you thought it was going to be. And so you've got to deal with that in a way of looking within yourself and going with your own moral compass, looking at your principles, looking at your integrity, and try and deal with it bit by bit. I know it's all coming at once, but don't be drawn into the war. And, you know, because then we actually become defensive and it's passive aggressive, isn't it? So 7 of Wands can be a challenging time, even though it's a good card, it's progress. People think, I want to be you. It's like, you can have it. The 7 of Wands sometimes signifies a time where you really just got to go, hang on a minute, no, I've come this far. I mustn't let others take advantage of me. And you might be the one that feels like everyone wants a piece of you, and that everyone's kind of asking for this and asking for that, kind of going, well, you put yourself there, you've got to deal with that. And there are a lot of commitments being at the top, and people can get used to presuming that you'll be available and agreeable all the time. And this can be friends, families, colleagues, clients, neighbours, work colleagues, because they see you as coping, obliging, and helpful. Or they think you're a machine and take you for granted. So when this card comes up, you're dealing with everyone else's needs, and that can leave you with very little time for your own. So you've got to be firm and learn to say no. So this is the card of, when you're defending them, saying no. Happened to me 3 minutes before I came live. Can you do this? Nope. It's happened 3 times today. You know, and if it suits me, I will, but it's a no. In the 7 of Wands, it can highlight how lonely it can be, and that you are on your own, or it feels like it, and you've got to have the courage to face your position, and provided that you remain firm, don't let the numbers intimidate you. It may feel like a constant battle, catering for the needs of everyone, partners, children, keeping a roof over your head, paying the bills. Everything gets on top of us, and we're like, you know, I thought this was going to be great. And so it's about everything putting demands on your attention. So it's not just the colleagues are fighting you. You know, it's not, don't just see it as, you know, I don't have this. It's everything coming at you at once, where you just go, it's all too much, but I've got to hang in there, and I've got to kind of keep it all going. Remember, this is a temporary situation, and it will pass. You might feel like throwing in the towel, but that's because you're tired and you're fed up with all the pressure. But you got there, so you have got what it takes to endure this temporary period of time. And so when this card comes up in a reading, it suggests there's an ongoing battle with nobody prepared to back down. So it might be that the very thing that's the cause of the conflict or the argument can be forgotten, because people get into this, that's it now, you know, we are locked horns and here we go. And, you know, people could see your defense as you being aggressive, and that you're always looking for a fight, and they will try and blame you as the sole cause of their problems, and that you're wrong, and that, you know, you're childish not to admit it. But only you can decide, by looking within, whether this battle is worth fighting for. Don't just suddenly give in. You've got to think about it. It takes a lot of courage to work out you want to stand down. It takes a lot of courage to keep going. But you need to be the one that's able to make that decision. And you've also got to look at who's going to be beside me when I do this. You know, you can't just do it on your own all the time. It's not sustainable. So it can signify sometimes that friends and family disapprove of everything that's going on in your life, and you feel that you've always got to defend yourself, and that you're isolated and nobody else has got these problems. And so it can be that you've got to be very determined. If this again comes up in a career, as we said, it suggests you've got to fight to stay at the top. It's a daily challenge, and people are vying for that position, and they're looking for you to kind of step out of the way so they can step in. It can be lonely there, and you can wish you were back amongst everybody else and not in this competition in your job. The Seven of Wands is often because you're a bright soul and you've got burning ambitions, and it suggests that you've gone after what you wanted and you're good at it, and you would like to see how it is to stay at the top for a while. And you're strong, and we know that because 6 trying to fight 1. How is that fair? And so you've got a good moral compass, you've got the energy, remember this is a suit of energy, and your convictions are that you're passionate about your own actions. But you've got to pace yourself, because everyone's coming at you at once, and that's easier said than done. And you might be around what I would call an aggressive or toxic environment, where everyone's making you the scapegoat because it's the easy thing to do. You know, there's that thing, isn't there, of workers, just as an example, where people constantly go, that's right for them at the top. And it's like, they don't see, when they clock off at their 9 to 5, shall we say, that the people that are at the top don't go home sometimes till 2 in the morning because they have responsibilities. And they don't want to see that. Oh, well, that's what they're paid for. Not always the case. Those responsibilities, people can actually see you as a scapegoat. They're very narrow-minded. They're seeing what they want to see and try and explain to them. They're just there to criticise and oppose, and it's just the way it is. It's part of being on the top. And so you've either got to get a thick skin and get on with it and just have that boundary, be very careful, and you've got to put your foot down and recognise that your popularity as a boss is not so easy, and that you're probably going to have to delegate some of that responsibility and work out the fact that you're not amongst the team. You are perhaps in a privileged position, like the leader or the boss. And it can make you feel like, I've got to do it all myself, I can't trust anyone. But that's part of being smart, isn't it? Not working harder. Get there, you've got to defend it, and you've got to work out, right, how do I keep this going? How do I stop this? And you might be somebody that feels that you've got to step aside and let them kind of come and take what they think is theirs. But you've got to be an authority in what you're doing. And so this is something that can be difficult. So, tough at the top. Very much so. Has anybody got any questions? Yeah? So, let's see. Passionate Saji, have you got any questions? I'm going to lock my screen for a minute. Okay, let's just remind you, if you are working your way, it doesn't matter what stage you're at with tarot and how you do it, it's just lovely that we can all come here and dig a bit deeper for the meanings and certain things about tarot that we just explore in a way that I would say, I gave you all of that. Of course you don't say all of that about one card in a reading. Couldn't possibly. But it gives you an idea. It's not just about work. It can be about life. It can be about, neighbours. Calls today. Neighbours. Challenging. Territorial. Just on my mind because that's what happened. And yeah, territory. It's life, and we've got to go, well, do I just roll over, or do I look at the fact that I got here because I worked hard for it? And so it's a great card, but it's tough at the top. Yeah. Right, okay, let's just remind you of this. So this is the podcast, and there we have the lessons, as in, so if you want to go through your cards, you've got a podcast there. And there it is on my YouTube channel. Yeah. So, right, okay. Passionate Saggy. With his dress sense, would you say this person could be seen as unique? Yes, definitely. I would say it's a unique individual, one that stands out from the crowd. If we go back to the fact that he is wearing a green top and orangey sort of leggings, the green is supported by the universe. Green is a colour that reminds us, look at the trees behind me and the grass and everything that you can see. Nature's very clever. It's the heart chakra, green. And so, yeah, his dress is very much about the fact that he's grounded, he feels supported by the universe, and yes, it's a unique character, somebody that knows that they deserve to be there and knows that this is part of it, but it doesn't make it any easier to go, oh well, you wanted it, that's what comes with the territory. Not helpful. You don't want somebody saying that to you, and yeah, when you get there, you think, well, this is my problem, no one else's. And believing something like that being said to you can make you actually just want to roll over and give up. But yeah, definitely somebody that I would say is quite unique. This is what I say about, and I mentioned, the workers that stand outside and moan and groan about those, on the higher floor up, as in, of the building, top floor, top dogs, top bosses. Oh, it's all right for them in their nice cars. Look at that. We had to get the bus, blah, blah, blah. But you're seeing what you want to see. You're seeing the fact that you're earning what you're earning. How would you like it that you never had a weekend off, never went home before ridiculous time? You get out 1 minute after 5 and you're moaning. I'm not paid for that, blah, blah, blah. Perhaps those at the top aren't either. A lot of sacrifice goes into that. And yes, somebody will always be looking to say, I'd like to knock you off the top of the mountain, and I'd like to stand there like the king of the castle. So you've got to be somebody that's unique, and somebody, I would say, that is authentic, because it takes a certain type, and those that want to go with the crowd and follow, they'll always be that. And they'll always moan and mumble, and they'll always want to complain, they'll always want to challenge. And if you're sensitive and go, oh gosh, maybe they're right, of course you can think like that. But could they do what you've done? You've got to go inwards and ask those questions. And it's a great place to be, privileged, on top of the situation. But people are going to come at you. They will come at you. And that's just how it is. So, thank you so much for your company, everybody. I'm terribly sorry. I did have a video ready to show you for the website, and 2 calls came in, and unfortunately, although it's finished, it will not transfer from my office to the studio computer. It's just saying it can't find the file. And I've got it sitting right in front of me, but it can't find it. So we'll definitely show you that next week. But for now, go and have a look at the website, tarotwithhenry.com. And on there, you can find natal chart. Yeah, natal chart. It's all changed. New courses, lots and lots of different things. And yeah, there's something on there. We've got pet astrology, we've got natal charts, we've got blogs. What's in the blogs? That's what I wanted to say to you. If you don't know your court cards, go and read the blogs, because every time a new star sign comes in, like Libra, Scorpio, and I remembered Libra. I forgot them the other day, sorry Libra. When I was talking about the 12, I only mentioned 11. My sincere apologies. Publicly, I wanted to say that. Yes, if you are not sure about court cards, I haven't done all of them, but what I've done is, when it's time of Libra, I've done a blog about the court card and the celebrities that are Libra, and next one's already on, the Scorpio, and I think it goes back from probably Taurus. I think I began with Taurus. Yeah, so there's still some to go, but that will help you. When you are not sure of something, think of someone. 7 of Wands, who do you know that's like that? You know, think of someone. Was it you? When were you in a situation like that? And how did it feel? And if it hasn't happened to you, can you identify maybe with somebody and how difficult it can be? And people will always want to knock people from the top down. It's just unfortunate. As humans, it seems to be this awful thing that happens. But there we go. So, Queen of Cups, you're very welcome. It's very different. So, Tuesdays, yeah, we'll be showing you how to do the 7 of Wands with Major Arcana, and how that can actually mean, how you can really read with that, how to read the 7 of Wands. You've got a lot of background information there that has gone into your computer somewhere, and you'll pull out one day and go, gosh, I remember that, I remember that, I remember this. It'll all go in, and I reminded you, the podcasts are there for a reason. They're there for your reference to go back to any time that you want to, but they're not the same as the courses, because we are only doing little bits, but they're good bits, aren't they? So thank you to the people that I can see are watching on YouTube, on Twitch, and on my page, Tarot with Anne-Marie. Lovely. Thank you so much for the thumbs up on the page, by the way. I really appreciate that. Queen of Cups, you're very welcome. Passionate Saji, you're welcome. Okay, so till next time, and do if you didn't mind, I'd love it if you could think of some questions that we can actually use for Tuesday's tutorial, of things that you have been asked, or think people might ask, or that you ask about in a reading. You know, it's not always work or love. Sometimes it's about, oh, should I go for my hobby, or should I do X, Y, or Z? You know, or as I mentioned today, it was all about neighbours. What's that about, huh? Okay, thanks everybody. See you next time. Until then, have a beautiful weekend. Bye for now.